With the 3.19 expansion just around the corner, let me present to you one of the fastest league starters out there. After yesterday's patch note, it's clear that the build is untouched, so it's completely viable. I just have one question for you. Do you like speed? Alright, what's good guys, welcome back. I wanna talk about Poisonous Concoction Occultist. I league started with this last league in 3.18 and it was an absolute breeze. I farmed up just about 2 mirrors with this build without any problems whatsoever. So let me talk about it. Before you go and just yoink my PvP, please do note that this is not a bossing build. You will have hard time killing bosses with this build. This build is meant to be a mapper. If you want to do mapping strategies like speedrun T16s with Expedition, for example, because this is really good for Expedition, mainly I use that for my currency making, then by any means go ahead and play this build. But if you want to do bosses, I recommend checking out Path of Mets, Eye of Winter, Inquisitor. That build looks absolutely insane with low investment. So this is not a bossing character, please understand it. Alright, let me show you the gear that I was using in the clips that you see in the intro. So basically everything has life and resist, nothing else, right? And I had no ring slot here. The reason behind the ring slot is that trash got changed, so I excluded that from the build. You can get onslaught with either a flask or you can path towards the onslaught node here. But yeah, other than that, I was using this gear. Most of the gems are not even level 20. Nothing crazy going on, right? With the spell suppression changes, you will be able to cap your spell suppression without a problem, even with the nerfs when it comes to the armor part. So yeah, basically the build works on rare items and the Bisco. The reason why we want to use Biscos is to have the extra movement speed, have the rampage stack going on for us. And since the build is so fast, we can easily get 1000 rampage stacks on every single map that we are playing. Other than that, I was using this cluster in the montage that you saw: Unholy Grace, Unbeavering the Evil, and Wicked Pal. Nothing else. Basically, we have a CB jewel, not even like increased life. So this is a toned down version of the actual build that you will play. So why this build, you might ask? Basically, Poisonous Concoction is scaling off of your life flask. So if you can get a high increased life recovered Divine Flask, then you are good to go basically. Your wall clear is a tooling basically. Your Plague Bearer with increased effect will carry you all the way through the tier 16s. Without a problem. Your clear is gonna be absolutely amazing from the start, and that is because of this node, Profane Bloom. Occultist didn't get hit with nerfs or anything, so basically it's unchanged. Profane Bloom will explode everything around you. Since we are using a curse as an aura, we are using either Temp Chains or Despair. Now this is a personal preference. Since we have Malediction allocated, right? We have Malediction allocated, that means that we can apply 2 curses. Now, if you wanna do that, you can actually run Temp Chains as an aura and self-cast Despair on harder bosses. So you might ask, why am I not running Temp Chains? I don't feel like that you actually need the Temp Chains as a defensive layer to be able to run to the wall Atlas. But later on, when you can get your hands on an Impresence Amulet, you can actually just run Despair and also run temp chains. This build is not the squishiest, however it's not really tanky either. You basically are running evasion and evasion only up until the point where you can actually afford to go with determination, and that's not gonna happen up until the point where you can actually get the imprisons or other sources of increased mana reservation. So basically why we are running Grace is that because we have the increased mana reservation efficiency when it comes to the evasion mastery. With the changes to the reservations, we won't have the 15% mana reservation here. It's not even included currently in the build, and we are running Vitality, Precision, Grace and Skitterbots as of right now with the Despair Aura. But as I said, as soon as you can get your hands on an Impresence, you can actually use Temp Chains and Despair both at the same time. Another question you might have is how do you actually level this build? Now this is the tricky part. So when it comes to leveling, you will do Stormblast Mines into Armageddon Brand, and around level 60 when you can get your Divine Flask, that is when you actually switch over to Poisonous Concoction. Alright, so in the PvP you will find everything that you need to know about leveling with this build. So we have Act 1, Act 2 with the auras, Act 3 with the gem setup or the gem swap setup, and the actual endgame setup. Alongside with that, we actually have leveling trees. So basically, all throughout the acts, you will have a tree that you can actually follow along, and you will have no problems leveling with this build. Trust me, Armageddon Brand and Cremation can clear the whole campaign. They are super strong, and they really don't need single damage nodes on the tree. That's the only problem with leveling with this build, is that you only get 2 damage nodes in the whole entire tree when you are leveling up until level 60 when you do your swap into Poisonous Concoction. So there's gonna be a tree, a level 85 tree without a cluster. Now, I firmly believe that by the time you reach like T16s or T15s, you will have enough currency to buy yourself a cluster. This is why I only included one singular large cluster and nothing else. So basically, you want to get this cluster, it's gonna be like a huge increase in damage that will help your single target DPS quite a bit. Another thing that you really want to pick up is an increased duration of elements while you are focused Helmcraft. Now, this is getting nerfed basically, so it's gonna be 90% instead of 100. However, 100 is still the lowest roll that you can currently get, so it's gonna be just fine. Other than that, the gear that you will find in the PvP is already calculated with the nerfs when it comes to spell suppression. So as you can clearly see on the shield, it's 18% instead of 30, and so on and so forth. I also included a silver flask. If you don't want to invest points into getting onslaught automatically, you can use an onslaught flask. I would actually recommend doing that, however it's personal preference. Other than that, the build actually works with like nothing. Like I'm talking about one singular unique item, and that is Viscose. I'm an absolute shield for this build just because, as I said, I played it last week, it performed amazingly. I managed to get myself a bunch of currency with it, and I barely invested anything into it. So moving forward, if you want to invest a bit more, you can get Impresence in your amulet slot and put on one more aura, but you don't really need to invest that much into this build. Basically, with this build, all you want to do is make a bunch of currency and reroll into a strong build. That's it. Check the notes also. It's not filled currently, but by the time you will see this video, the notes section will be filled. I will include the wandcraft that you will actually need to use in order to deal good damage when it comes to clearing the campaign. Also the links that you should look out for and everything else. So check the notes section also. Other than that, I think this is a really straightforward POB that you can follow along. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my Twitch. I will try out a bunch of league starters. I'm super curious about the Eye of Winter Miner that Path of Matt made, so I will probably test that. But yeah, you guys take care, have a beautiful league start, and I talk to you very soon.